Welcome to the History in Focus channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. American soldiers watching the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in March 1944. The impressive natural phenomenon occurred while the soldiers were in Italy during World War II. These photos were taken shortly after the Great Blizzard of North Dakota in 1966. It was a devastating event that marked the state's history with its extreme conditions. The Aboriginal man Tom Noituna using the newly installed telephone for the first time around 1980. This moment marked the adaptation of a traditional community to new technologies, bringing significant changes to their way of communication. Andre the Giant holds the record for the most beer consumed in a single session for 40 years. During a 6-hour period in 1976, he drank 119 12-ounce bottles at a pub in Pennsylvania. Vasily Arkhipov, known as the man who saved the world, was a Soviet Navy officer who refused to launch a nuclear torpedo near a U.S. naval base, thus preventing a possible nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962. Future President Gerald Ford with his teammate Willis Ward at the University of Michigan in 1934. Ford threatened to leave the team when Ward was excluded from a game against Georgia Tech, which at the time refused to play against black players. Francesca Mann arrived at Auschwitz in 1943 and, when ordered to undress, did so provocatively, distracting the guards. She grabbed the officer's weapon and killed him, injuring another, before other prisoners joined her rebellion, all of whom were killed shortly afterward. Freddie Mercury told Mary Austin in his will that if things had been different, she would have been his wife, and the assets would have been hers anyway. Joan Trumpauer Mulholland was arrested for protesting in 1961. She was tested for mental illnesses because authorities couldn't understand why a white woman would care about civil rights, challenging prejudices, and fighting for equality. Keanu Reeves spending time with a homeless man in West Hollywood in 1997. The images reflect the humble and compassionate nature of the actor, who has always maintained a genuine connection with people off the spotlight. The Paramount Pictures logo on the day it was originally painted in 1965. This image represents the beginning of one of the most iconic brands in cinema, which remains today as a symbol of excellence in the industry. Laetitia Casta in the 1990s. The French supermodel conquered the fashion world with her unique beauty and stage presence, becoming an icon of the industry and marking her era as one of the biggest names on the runway. A French woman serving tea to a British soldier during the Normandy battle in 1944. Carrie Fisher and her co-stars having fun on the Millennium Falcon in 1981. The moment shows the relaxation and friendship between the actors during the filming. The Montparnasse train disaster in 1895. One of the most notorious railway accidents in history, where the locomotive fell off the platform. A penny auction at a foreclosed farm in Michigan in 1936. At penny auctions, farmers conspired to place low bids, resulting in a low return for the creditor. The final buyer would return the property to the impoverished farmer. Gallows ropes were used as a warning to suspicious bidders. In the 1970s, a deaf person embraces a loudspeaker against their chest to feel the vibrations of the music, seeking a unique way to connect with the sounds around them. Selma Burke posing with a bronze relief she created of Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1945. This creation is considered by many to be the inspiration for Roosevelt's face on the U.S. dime. The inventor of the Super Soaker around the early 1980s created a toy that would become one of the most popular of the decade, revolutionizing playtime and introducing water wars to a new level of fun. Behind-the-scenes photos of the production of The Empire Strikes Back, showing the moments that marked the creation of one of the most acclaimed films in cinema history. These images reveal the hard work and creative vision that brought memorable scenes to life. The 1980 production was crucial in solidifying Star Wars' legacy in the collective imagination of fans around the world. And the images capture the unique interaction between the crew and the actors during filming. Stephen King with his $12,000 Wang word processor in the 1980s. The writer was at a point in his career where he was using cutting-edge technology to create his iconic works, including Carrie and The Shining. The Telepathic Amplifiers by Constantin Brâncuș, modeled by Lizica Codreanu in 1922. The piece showcases Brâncuș's unique vision, with Lizica bringing his artistic concept to life. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with John Wooden in 1969, and 38 years later, maintaining the same connection and respect that transcends time, showing the lasting friendship and influence of Wooden on Kareem's career. Albert Einstein teaching at Lincoln University, the first historically black university in the United States, in 1946. Two men with a box full of rats after a rat hunt in Paris, France, in 1911. The image illustrates an unusual practice of the time when rat hunting was done as a form of pest control in urban areas. Farewell kisses in the 1940s and 50s. The tradition of saying goodbye with a kiss reflected the emotion and intensity of farewells during that time. Betty Robinson survived a plane crash and was wrongly considered dead. She spent 7 weeks in a coma and took 2 years to learn to walk again. 5 years later, she won a gold medal at the 1936 Olympics. Charles Schulz and the original Snoopy. The 1935 photo shows Schulz with Spike, his favorite dog, and according to him, the smartest of the 5 dogs in the family, before becoming the iconic character in the Peanuts comic strip. Polish Olympians Jan Falandis, 105 pounds, and Adam Sandurski, 220 pounds, at the 1980 Moscow Olympics. They recreated the photo in 2019. On May 25, 1965, Neil Leifer captured this photo of Muhammad Ali defeating Sonny Liston. The image became one of the most iconic in boxing history, symbolizing Ali's rise as one of the greatest athletes of all time. A professional weightlifter holding his child in one hand and a milk crate in the other. A wooden truck used for smuggling alcohol in 1926. During Prohibition, this type of transport became one of the most common ways to traffic alcoholic beverages illegally, symbolizing resistance to the era's ban. Pope Francis in 1998, using public transportation in Buenos Aires. He was known for his humility and connection with the people, long before becoming the leader of the Catholic Church. Children on Crown Street in London in 1930. In the everyday life of the time, it was common to see young ones playing in the streets amid a London beginning to transform, yet still preserving the charm of its old neighborhoods. Hugh Thompson, the hero who stopped a massacre committed by U.S. troops in the Vietnamese village of My Lai, landing his helicopter in the line of fire in 1968. A photo of the first day this Japanese immigrant was in New York, taking the subway. This man did his best to celebrate his daughter's second birthday in 1995, when the family consisted only of the two of them. Angelina Jolie at the Oscars in the 1980s. Though still young, she was already attracting attention for her beauty and talent, before becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars in the following decades. A real photo of Albert Einstein giving a lecture on the theory of relativity in 1922. This woman took pictures of herself working at her desk, one in 1992 and another in 2019, showing how time and personal evolution are captured in the same circumstances, but with striking differences over the years. Two Taiwanese divers during the Second Taiwan Strait Crisis in 1958 wearing Rolex Submariner watches, Dolly Parton and Carl Dean in 1964. The beginning of the relationship of one of the most iconic couples in country music, a Scandinavian flight attendant examining a new uniform proposal for Scandinavian Airlines in 1964. However, the proposal was not approved. Big John Candy and his secretary, who worked for his accounting office, in August 1988. Susan Kare, the famous Apple artist, was responsible for designing many of the fonts, icons, and images for Apple, Next, Microsoft, and IBM in the 1980s. Hedy Lamarr, Tommy Dorsey, and Merle Oberon at a nightclub around 1939. The meeting between these emblematic figures from cinema and music represents the glamour of the time. The cast of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace in 1999. These were the actors who brought iconic characters to life in the franchise, marking the return of the space saga and the beginning of a new generation of Star Wars fans. American soldiers heading home after World War II aboard an overcrowded ship in 1945. A Harlem merchant posing in front of his store in 1937. The image captures the strength of everyday life, reflecting the entrepreneurial spirit and resilience of the African American community at the time. Billy, 90 years old, is shown here on his boat in the early 1980s, an image that brings forth the youth and energy of a time that marked his life. An old-fashioned public awareness campaign in Times Square in 1955. Notorious B.I.G. and a clothing store owner around 1996 when he visited the store in Detroit, Michigan. A young man recreated in 2018 a photo taken by his father in 1984 at Chichen Itza. He copied both his pose and clothes. A 1963 Chevrolet Corvette split window, an automotive icon known for its innovative and unique design, with the split rear window making it one of the most coveted and admired models in sports car history. The Undertaker and his grandmother in the 1990s, a rare glimpse of the wrestler away from the ring, sharing a tender moment with someone special. Sigourney Weaver with her parents on the set of Alien in 1978. A rare moment for the actress at the beginning of her career before becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars, showing her family connection. A mother helping her children through a tough stage in Super Mario Land on the Game Boy in 1989. The Hollywood legend and actress Jane Mansfield poses on a couch on the set of The Bachelor TV show in the 1950s. The images highlight the charm and elegance of Mansfield, who became a cultural reference and symbol of glamour of the time. Bruce Willis with his children in the 1990s. The actor is shown in a relaxed and family moment away from the spotlight, spending time with his children during an era that marked his popularity in cinema. Paul Rubens' Pee Wee Herman in the 1970s, early in his career when he was still developing the character that would later become a TV and pop culture icon. Kim Wilde, pop star of the 1980s in 1984. The British singer dominated the decade with iconic hits, standing out in the music scene with her unique style and contagious energy. Two women at the George Cafe in Warsaw in the 1930s attending a quick meeting. A fascinating glimpse into an innovative form of socializing from that time, long before the popularization of modern speed dating. Dave Chappelle and Carrie Elwes in 1993. Two actors in a rare moment of relaxation before their careers took off, reflecting the connection between two great figures in entertainment. A woman voting for the first time in a presidential election in 1972 in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Keanu Reeves relaxing on the couch during the Toronto International Film Festival in 1988. A laid-back moment of a young actor before becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars. This image shows just children gathered in a room. But what stands out is their surprising resemblance to the main cast of Stranger Things. Men from Easy Company after capturing Hitler's Eagle's Nest in 1945. This image portrays the historic conquest and the soldiers' courage, marking the end of one of the most decisive campaigns of World War II. Robin Williams offering a roll of toilet paper to the Thinker in the early 1990s. In 1983, a woman proudly posed beside a motorcycle she built herself. The project reflects her skill and determination in creating a unique motorized machine. Cass Elliot and Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas in the 1960s. The two members of the iconic band marked a generation with their voices and presence in the 60s music movement. Neve Campbell in 1997, during an iconic moment in her career, reflecting the rise of her fame in the film industry, especially after the success of the Scream franchise. Children dressed for Halloween on a school bus in the 1980s. The photo shows the fun and nostalgia of a time when Halloween was celebrated with creativity and enthusiasm, especially among the little ones. Hippies preparing food by a campfire next to their tent at the first Glastonbury Festival in the UK in September 1970. This was the essence of the event, with its alternative atmosphere and communal spirit. Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford reviewing the script for The Empire Strikes Back in 1979. The moment reveals the actors' preparation for one of the most iconic films in the Star Wars franchise, where the chemistry between them solidified. A real photo of Theodore Roosevelt and John Muir in Yosemite in 1903. The meeting between the president and the naturalist symbolized the union of efforts for the preservation of natural beauty and the creation of the national parks in the United States. This couple was photographed on their wedding day in 1964 and nearly 6 decades later, celebrating Christmas in 2021. The image shows the beauty of the continuity of a shared life and love that endures over the years. Brooke Shields in the 1990s. The actress and model continued to shine in the Hollywood scene, maintaining her striking presence in pop culture while transitioning between major roles in film and television. George Carlin being arrested after performing his controversial routine, 7 Words You Can Never Say on Television, on May 27, 1972. Lady Diana falling asleep during an official royal engagement in 1981. At that time, she was pregnant with Prince William, though the pregnancy had not yet been announced. This is Howard Ashman, the lyricist and playwright who created the most iconic songs of the Disney Renaissance. Howard was extremely passionate about his work, so much so that he continued working on Beauty and the Beast while in his hospital bed, dying of AIDS. Members of the Wearable Computing Project at MIT in the mid-1990s. The photo depicts the pioneers of wearable technology who were ahead of their time, exploring new ways to integrate computers into everyday life. A woman and a veteran embracing at the dedication ceremony of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in 1982. A potato vending machine in Chelsea, London in 1962. A curious innovation of the time, showing how technology was beginning to be incorporated into daily life in practical and unusual ways, even for simple products like potatoes and eggs. Marilyn Monroe and Arthur Miller arriving at the premiere of The Battle of the River Plate in 1956. The image shows the couple in one of their public relationship moments, with Marilyn, a cinema icon, and Arthur, a renowned playwright, together at a prestigious event. Mariska Hargitay at 22 in the short-lived police drama Downtown in 1986. The actress was beginning her career before becoming globally known for her role in Law and Order, SVU. Sean Connery and Ursula Andress on the set of Dr. No in 1962. It was the beginning of one of the most iconic partnerships in cinema, when the chemistry between the two in the first James Bond film captured the hearts of fans worldwide. Mena Suvari in the 1990s. The actress stood out with her unique presence in cinema, especially with roles in iconic films of the time, such as American Beauty, establishing herself as one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Gene Wilder admiring Jack Albertson's BMW 1602 on the set of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 1971. A relaxed moment between the actors, away from the cameras, as they worked on one of the decade's most beloved films. Betty Page at the beach in 1953. The photo captures the beautiful pinup model in a relaxed moment, highlighting her beauty and style, which would become a symbol of an era of glamour and rebellion in pop culture. President Lyndon Johnson singing with the dog Yuki, while his grandson, Patrick Lyndon Nugent, watches at the LBJ Ranch on January 6, 1968. George Clooney at 15. The photo shows the young future Hollywood star before achieving worldwide fame when he was still in the early stages of his acting journey, with the charisma that would make him globally known. Jimi Hendrix wearing his football uniform at home in 1956 in Seattle, Washington. The future rock idol was in a moment of his youth, away from the stage, living an ordinary life before becoming a music legend. A protester standing tall after helping overthrow dictator Nicolae Ceausescu during the Romanian Revolution in 1989. A moment of victory and freedom, showing the courage and spirit of the Romanian people in resisting oppression. Busta Rhymes meeting Bob Marley's children during the Smoke and Grooves tour at the Universal Amphitheater in 1996. The image brings together icons of hip-hop and reggae music, celebrating a collaboration of styles and generations on stage. Steven Spielberg and Roy Scheider on the set of Jaws. The photo captures the director and actor during the production of one of the most iconic films in cinema history, revolutionizing the suspense and adventure genre. The main actors of Pulp Fiction, Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta, Uma Thurman, and Bruce Willis in 1994. Monica Bellucci in 1991. The Italian actress and model began to gain notoriety for her unique beauty and talent, which later made her one of the biggest stars in European and international cinema. Renee Simonsen in 1982. The Danish model was at the height of her career, standing out on the runways and in advertising campaigns, becoming one of the most renowned supermodels of the 1980s. Joan Baez and Bob Dylan in 1963 in Washington, D.C. The two formed one of the most popular couples in folk music at the time, with their music and activism gaining momentum during the U.S. Civil Rights Movement. George Wendt and John Goodman wrestling with legs on Late Night with Conan O'Brien in 1993. A relaxed and fun moment between the two, representing the friendship and good humor that marked their chemistry on Cheers. Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher attending the 10th anniversary of the American Film Institute at the Kennedy Center in 1977. The event celebrated their rising careers, with both still at the peak of their fame following the success of Star Wars. Tom Hanks on the set of Forrest Gump. Hanks won the Academy Award for Best Actor in 1995 for his performance in the film, which became one of the most acclaimed movies in cinema history. Christian Slater, Patrick Dempsey, Costas Mandylor, and Richard Grieco in the film Mobsters. The cast came together to tell the story of young mobsters, with standout performances that became a highlight of 90s action and crime cinema. Viggo Mortensen as a child in Argentina in the 1960s. Even as a child, he was already notable for his ability to portray the character Aragorn in the Lord of the Rings franchise, which would make him globally famous. Cameron Diaz in the 1990s. The actress stood out for her unique energy and charisma, becoming a Hollywood icon with her performances in films like The Mask and Charlie's Angels, gaining prominence as one of the most beloved stars of the decade. This man is lighting a cigarette for himself in a self-portrait with double exposure made in the 1950s. Tina Turner performing at the Schaefer Music Festival at Woolman Rink in Central Park in 1971. Her intense and energetic performance marked one of the most iconic moments of her career in the early stages of her musical journey. A man on his first day working at NASA in 1986. Marlon Brando posing with a sign during his costume test for the 1951 film A Streetcar Named Desire. A pivotal moment in Brando's career before he became one of the greatest cinema icons. Robert Plant signing the first Led Zeppelin album for a police officer in the early 1980s. An unexpected interaction between the famous vocalist and a fan during a time of great success for the band. A receptionist waiting at her desk at the General Motors Technical Center in 1965. The professional environment of the time marked the beginning of the modernization of businesses and the growing presence of women in the workplace. Salma Hayek and Edward Norton in 1999. The visible charm and chemistry between the two actors, who stood out in the film Dogma and other projects, solidifying their careers in Hollywood by the end of the 90s. A couple recreated in 2018 a photo taken in 1967, the same motorcycle, the same pose, and the same location. Dolly Parton in the 1970s, off-stage, relaxed, and with an angelic appearance. The image captures a rare moment of her personal life, showing her natural beauty and charm without the pressure of the spotlight. Tom Cruise, then known as Tom Mapother, walking around Louisville in 1977. He lived there for a while and studied at St. Xavier High School before becoming one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Angelina Jolie's first appearance in cinema was in the 1982 film Lookin' to Get Out, a comedy. She played the character Tosh at the age of 5. Joaquin Phoenix, Jennifer Connelly, Liv Tyler, Billy Crudup, and Joanna Going on the set of Inventing the Abbotts in 1997. The photo captures the young actors during filming, in a production that marked the first major performances for many of them. Lynda Carter appearing blonde as Wonder Woman in the new original Wonder Woman in 1975. The image shows the actress in a different version of her iconic character before she solidified her role as the Wonder Woman, who would charm generations of fans over the years. Jenny Joseph, 28 years old, posing for the Columbia Pictures logo in 1992. An iconic moment of the young actress who would become a cultural symbol in the film industry. This man, portrayed in the early 1980s, fought in the Mexican Revolution. His image is a testament to a historical period that shaped Mexico's identity and future generations. Arnold Schwarzenegger, about to be sworn in as an American citizen in 1983. A significant moment in the actor's life, who would become not only a cinema icon, but also a political figure. Alan Swift, a 102-year-old man, drove the same Rolls-Royce Piccadilly Roadster for 77 years. He was the car's owner for almost a century, maintaining a unique connection with the vehicle throughout much of his life. John Kennedy campaigning door-to-door in West Virginia in 1960. This moment was during the beginning of his political journey, where he won hearts by approaching the American people. The original anti-fascist movement preparing to interrupt a large Nazi meeting in 1944. The iconic revenge dress worn by Princess Diana on the night Prince Charles publicly admitted to being unfaithful to her in 1994. A bride leaving her newly bombed home to get married in London on November 4, 1940. A trio of friends during the Green Day show at Woodstock in 1994. Brigitte Bardot in the 1950s, and now. She went from a beauty and style icon, dazzling the world at the height of her career, to a more reserved figure, but still remembered as one of the greatest film stars. Geena Davis on the set of Thelma and Louise in 1990. The actress was at the peak of her career, marking an important moment in cinema history with her unforgettable performance. Gary Anderson, the 23-year-old who, in 1970, designed the recycling logo for a contest. His creation became one of the most recognizable symbols of the environmental movement, reflecting the beginning of global awareness about sustainability. Keanu Reeves on the set of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in 1987. Keanu played the awkward Ted Theodore Logan, who accidentally accesses a time machine with his friend Bill, creating one of the most iconic duos in 80s cinema. Shakira in 1997. The Colombian singer began to gain recognition with her unique style and remarkable voice, before becoming one of the biggest global stars in music in the following years. In 1974, Masahisa Fukase photographed his wife, Yoko Wanibe, every morning from the window of their apartment in Tokyo as she left for work. These daily photos became a series that captured simple moments of their lives. A father showing his skill, causing his young daughter to be surprised, in Melbourne, Australia, around 1940. This woman retired after 42 years as an obstetric nurse at the same hospital. Here she is, both at the beginning of her career in 1979 and at the end of her professional journey. Madame Bijou, wearing all her jewelry, waiting for her lost love in the 1930s. She embodies the elegance of the time, while her expectation for reunion blends glamour and longing, capturing the essence of an unforgettable romance. Sandra Brown, the first black woman in the Oakland Police Force, receiving instructions on how to fire a shotgun in 1970. Today, she is the senior judge of the United States District Court for the Northern District of California, an unemployed woodworker going with his wife to the bean harvest in Oregon in August 1939. Jennifer Tilly during the production of Scorchers in 1991. A moment from her early career, capturing her unique presence on set while bringing one of her first important roles in cinema to life. Freddie Mercury in bed with his cats in the 1980s. The rock icon displayed his most intimate and affectionate side, sharing quiet moments with his animals, away from the stage and fame. Marilyn Monroe in New York, studying acting at the Actors Studio in 1955, a period when Monroe was seeking professional improvement before becoming a global cinema legend. Raquel Welch in 1971, kicking a ball in Chelsea's uniform while filming Hannie Calder in Arizona. The actress showcased her athletic side while also excelling in expressive film roles. A common soldier on the right with Elvis Presley on the left in post-war Germany in the late 1950s. The mayor of Burlington, Bernie Sanders, collecting trash alone in a public park after being elected in 1981, his first electoral victory. This is what spending time in a University of Illinois dormitory looked like in 1910, a glimpse of life at the turn of the 20th century. Erlen Ebrecht in the 1960s. His presence was striking in a time full of cultural transformations. Later, his image became a symbol of his generation. Jonas Salk in the 1950s. The man who defeated polio and chose humanity over fortune. He confronted a global crisis with science and then gave his miracle to the world for free, leaving a legacy of compassion and innovation. Elizabeth Shue on the set of The Karate Kid in 1984, playing Ali. The photo captures the actress's charm as she helped create one of the most beloved stories of romance and overcoming obstacles in 80s cinema. Bette Davis and Joan Blondell in 1932. They were two of the biggest stars of Hollywood at the time, with their strong and talented personalities dominating the screens and leaving their mark on the golden age of cinema. Hedy Lamarr relaxing on the set of the noir mystery film Crossroads in 1942. The actress, famous for her beauty, was taking a break while filming one of the many roles she played throughout her career. Elizabeth Taylor in the 1950s. The actress was at the peak of her career, dazzling the world with her stunning beauty and exceptional talent. Nicole Kidman and Kate Winslet in the mid-1990s. Two of the biggest stars in cinema, both on the rise, who would later become central figures in major productions, with their memorable performances and versatility. Sophia Loren in 1960. The Italian actress was at the peak of her career, becoming an international cinema icon with her unmistakable beauty and impressive talent, marking the decade with memorable roles. Adrienne LaRussa in 1969. The actress appears in a moment from the end of the 1960s, a time when she stood out in various television and film roles, gaining attention for her beauty and talent. Vangelis, Salvador Dali, and Amanda Lear having fun at the album launch party for 666 in 1971. The meeting between these music and art figures combined the creative and eccentric spirit of the time, marked by unique collaborations. Jasmine Guy and Patti LaBelle at the 25th anniversary special of Soul Train in 1995. Two legends of music and television coming together to celebrate the history and influence of the show, which helped shape African American musical culture. The Iceman delivering a 25-pound block of ice around 1928. The image shows a common practice of the time when ice was delivered directly to homes, an essential part of daily life before the invention of modern refrigeration. People in Paris in the 1960s. The city was a cultural hub, with young people and artists gathering to explore new ideas and styles. Vivian Bates and her Harley Davidson in 1929. The photo shows a bold woman ahead of her time, challenging the norms of the era by standing out in the male-dominated world of motorcycles, symbolizing independence and adventurous spirit. Meryl Streep in the 1970s. The actress, still at the start of her career, began to establish her place in Hollywood with her talent and versatility, which later made her one of the greatest movie stars worldwide. Sidney Pollack, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and Martin Scorsese at the press conference for the Film Foundation in Beverly Hills. in May 1990. Diana Ross dancing in a disco in 1979. She gave herself to the music and the lively atmosphere of the disco era, showcasing her commanding presence. Grace Kelly taking a nap in the sun on the set of Mogambo, a film in which she starred alongside Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart in 1953. The photo captures the serene beauty and elegance of the actress, even during a moment of rest on set. Christian Slater, Tom Cruise, Kirsten Dunst, Antonio Banderas, and Brad Pitt at the premiere of Interview with the Vampire in 1994. The photo gathers the stars of one of the most iconic films of the 90s, a young Inuit girl with her husky puppy in 1949. The simplicity and deep connection with nature and animals is remarkable, a common practice in Arctic life. Anne Armstrong Jones, later Countess of Rossi, and her daughter Susan, later Viscountess of Vesky, the mother and sister of Anthony Armstrong Jones, at a wedding in 1929. John Lennon and Yoko Ono during their Bed-In for Peace in 1969. The event was a nonviolent protest against the war, particularly the Vietnam War, where the couple used their visibility to spread a message of peace and love. Isaac Hayes, Rick James, Barry White, and Teddy Pendergrass in 1978. The photo brings together some of the greatest icons of soul and funk music at the time, each contributing uniquely to the genre. Andre Agassi and his entourage in Paris for the 1990 French Open. It was the beginning of his journey in the tournament as he prepared to become one of the greatest tennis players of all time, with a career full of victories and memorable moments. Kreutzer Children on Stilts in 1938. This game highlighted the fun and lightness of childhood at the time, with the little ones enjoying a popular pastime. Louis Armstrong serenading his wife at the Sphinx in 1961. The moment shows the legendary musician in a romantic and intimate gesture, combining his passion for music with a historic setting. A Georgian military doctor from the 1940s bearing a striking resemblance to Johnny Depp. This image sparked speculation, with many believing Depp could be a time traveler. A portrait of Tonkan, a Kiowa chief wearing the Civil War officer's uniform, taken at Fort Sill in 1865. He represented indigenous leadership during a period of great change and conflict in the United States. Sharon Stone in 1990. The actress was at the beginning of her rise to Hollywood stardom, with her unique beauty and talent standing out in notable roles. Jiro Dan was a Japanese actor, model, and singer, best known for portraying Ultraman Jack in the TV series Return of Ultraman. Bruce Moser doing underwater photography at Silver Springs State Park in Florida in the 1950s. He was a pioneer of the technique, capturing unique underwater images and helping popularize underwater photography. A vendor refueling his motorized skates at a gas station in 1961. The Curious Scene shows a unique invention of the time during a period when technology was beginning to take new forms. A young Hiroyuki Sanada playing Romeo in a stage production of Romeo and Juliet at Tokyo's Sunshine Theater in 1986. These were Sanada's first steps into theater before he became a renowned actor in film and television. Dr. Minoru Shirota in the 1930s discovered the beneficial bacteria behind Yakult, pioneering the field of probiotic health. His work transformed the way we care for gut health and well-being, influencing global health. The farmer from San Antonio, Sam Smith, celebrating rain on Easter after a severe drought in Texas in 1951. Vanilla Ice and Benny Hill in 1990. The unexpected combination between the rapper and the British comedian brought the irreverent spirit of the time, where cultures and styles mixed together. People across the United States waiting to see the premiere of Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, on May 25, 1977. The event marked the beginning of one of the most iconic franchises in cinema history, generating unprecedented excitement among fans. Sherilyn Fenn in a promotional photo taken for the original Twin Peaks series in November 1989. The actress had a pivotal role as Audrey Horne, which made her internationally famous in the 1990s. Jude Law, still a teenager, photographed by Bruce Weber in 1995. The image captures the young model in his early steps in the fashion industry before becoming one of Hollywood's stars. Bob Marley performing live in London in 1975. The energetic performance of the reggae icon captured the essence of his music and global impact as he spread his message of freedom and resistance through his songs. Peter Cushing during the filming of the 1962 film Captain Clegg, released in the U.S. as Night Creatures to avoid a lawsuit from Disney. The images show the actor in one of his most memorable roles in a classic Hammer horror film. This couple recreated their honeymoon photo 40 years later, reflecting the enduring love and continuity of a shared story across the decades, keeping their most cherished memories alive. Japanese women's fashion from Ms. Magazine in 1965. The publication highlighted the trends of the time, mixing Western and traditional influences, capturing the cultural transition that shaped women's style in Japan. Donna Summer at 50 years old in 1998. The Queen of Disco still shined on stage, maintaining her unique presence and style that made her one of the greatest artists in music, even decades after her peak. Anthony Bourdain preparing a meal in his New York apartment in 1986. The early steps of the chef before becoming a legend in gastronomy and television with his passion for cooking. The photo of this white Jewish woman, taken in 1962, showed a surprising resemblance to Barack Obama, leading to conspiracy theories accusing Obama of being a time traveler. A model posing at Union Square in New York City in the 1950s. The image shows the style and elegance of the era, with the model standing out against the urban backdrop of the city. Mads Mikkelsen in the 1990s. The Danish actor began to gain recognition for his unique style and striking presence, preparing to become one of the most recognized names in international cinema. A man who went from peanut farmer to president and later to peacemaker, Jimmy Carter. His journey highlights his dedication to public service and his impact on the global stage, promoting peace and diplomacy. A young Red Fox in the 1940s. The early steps of a comedy legend, still before becoming one of the most influential and beloved comedians in the United States. Selena signing an autograph in the 1990s. The singer often interacted with her fans with her caring personality and charisma, making her one of the most beloved artists in Latin music. This is the graduation photo of a woman who, after graduating, worked for 47 years as a nurse. Fred Gwynne, World War II veteran and the actor who played Herman Munster alongside his wife Jean in 1957. An intimate moment from Gwynne's personal life before becoming a television icon in the 1960s. During a wedding ceremony in 1927, a pig interrupted the photo, passing between the camera and the people exactly at the moment of the photograph. Robin Williams and Whoopi Goldberg testifying before a Senate committee on the Homelessness Prevention and Revitalization Act of 1990. Together, they used their fame to give voice to an important cause, seeking solutions for the housing crisis. Jim Carrey at 19 and his unique method of hitchhiking in 1981. The photo captures a moment of his irreverent youth before becoming a comedy icon, reflecting his eccentric personality from the start. The president of South Korea, Moon Jae-in, with his wife, around 1970. The image depicts the couple at a time before Moon's political rise, when his personal life was still far from international attention. An iconic duo, Samuel L. Jackson and Bruce Willis in the early 1990s. The image captures the unique chemistry between the two actors, who later became central figures in action films and pop culture, especially with Pulp Fiction. Corinne Rothschild, Miss World 1969, a historic milestone in her career and in the world of beauty pageants. Ruby Roselles in the 1960s. The image shows the elegance and style of a woman of the time, standing out in the cultural and social scene that defined the decade, with Ruby as a beauty icon. The driver and librarian of the Wake County Bookmobile, India White, on July 23, 1966. The photo shows the work of an important figure in promoting reading and education, bringing books to communities in remote areas. This man and his beloved duck, which he raised from the time it was still an egg, in 1994.